Yo, welcome to my podcast, Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. And just in case you didn't know, I'm your host, Coach James. On my podcast, I will give you the recipe to a brand new life by intentionally rewiring the way you think. And the way you think is everything. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is going great. So, y'all, I am so infatuated with these NBA playoffs. And I don't know why my team, the Suns, aren't even in it, but I literally have been sitting there watching almost every playoff game. I can tell you the stats. I can tell you who's looking good. I can tell you who's not looking good. I can almost tell you anything you need to know about these games, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyways, though, y'all, on to today's episode. Yeah, when I was a kid, I had this issue, and I don't know if it's an issue or whatever you want to call it. I love to take things apart, and I wanted to know what was inside of a TV. I wanted to know what was inside of a radio. I wanted to know what makes the radio work and how. I wanted to know what was inside of a toaster. Like, I was just one of those real inquisitive kids where I had to know. And the thing that made it bad is that I would actually take stuff apart and I would put it back together and it will work. But some of the stuff wouldn't always be like it's supposed to be. But the majority of the time, I will put it back together. When my parents started getting smarter, like we noticed this was pulled apart because the screw isn't tightened all the way. Who did this? And me being the kid I was just lying and say I didn't do it, but I really did. And it was this one particular time my dad had just bought a brand new VCR that plays the VHSs. And some of you kids that are younger don't even know what that's even about. But my older generation, we all know what a VCR is and how it worked and the good things that it brought to our life at that time. So anyways, my dad brought this brand new VCR and those things weren't cheap back in the day. They were quite pricey, right? But my dad bought the VCR. Well, he went to work one day and I took it apart because I wanted to know, how does the VCR works? And so I tried to put it back together and that didn't go well. I ended up leaving screws out. You can see some of the screws are tightened and some of them was not. And my dad already knew that I had did it because I was the corporal for taking stuff apart. And he wasn't happy. And he looked at me and said, "You know what, son? I'm not going to whoop you." Because back then we got whoopings, right, y'all? Let's be real. We got ass beat with the belt. It is what it is, right? That's probably why I'm such a great kid today, because I got a belt in my life. but anyway, so my dad was like, I'm not gonna whoop you because I feel like I'm so angry with you because this thing costs so much money. I feel like that if I get the belt out, it's not gonna be good for you and myself. So instead of me whooping you this time, you're just gonna get this long ass conversation, which is what happened. But that was just me. I like to pull stuff apart because I want to know what was inside. And y'all, today's episode is called What Feels Spills. And this is along the lines of my story because some of us want to know what's going on, what's happening. And we don't understand that what we fill ourselves up with, it spills. And back to my point, because I was so infatuated with taking things apart, it filled me up because I wanted to know. But when it spill out, everyone knew what I did. And this is how our mindset works, because what we fill ourselves up with is what eventually comes out. And it comes out in our emotions, in our attitudes, our personalities, our behavior, our fears, and even spills out to our lifestyle, right? And so it's just one of those things. What fills us will spill out soon. After I had my issue, my mom wanted to have a long pep talk with me, and she was like, "Why do you do these things?" And I said, "I don't know." I thought I was broken or something. Like, what's wrong with me? And she looks at me after she gives me this long pep talk. She says, son, you're not broken. Her favorite word I used to hear her use all the time is what's in us will eventually come out of us. But it relates to today's episode because whatever you fill yourself with will eventually spill out into the world, spill out into people you know, spill out to your relationships, and spill out to your lifestyle. So whatever you feed yourself, whatever you intake is what you're going to eventually be. If your mind is always on being high, then you always going to be high. And you being high is going to spill out to your lifestyle, right? If you're infatuated with sex and you always feed your mind with sex, pornography, magazines, whatever it is that you do to feed yourself this information, it's going to spill out and everyone's going to start knowing this person's a sex addict, a sex fiend, right? So whatever you feeding yourself is going to spill out into your lifestyle. And so we have to do a better job of feeding ourselves good, educational, positive information. My favorite mantra that I made up is that if you don't find positivity in your life on a daily basis, you're going to somehow in some way absorb negativity because it is the life we live today. Social media is full of negativity. When somebody posts a negative comment, everybody, they friends, they share it, they love it, they leave a comment, they like it, they do all the above. Somebody posts a positive comment, one like, one share, 0 comments. We live in a negative world. Everyone likes to intake negativity. Some of us are drama junkies. We like to just be involved in the middle of drama. But again, back to my point, what fills spills. So if you love drama, you love hearing about drama, and you love seeing drama, your life is going to be filled with drama. If you're a person that's full of anxiety and you watch all these shows with all these things that's scary to you, everything around you is going to be anxious. And you're going to look for that thing to what everything is going to happen to always happen. And it's going to cause you to always be in a frenzy looking for anxiety in your life. Yeah. Yeah. You are what you eat, right? If you eat healthy, you think healthy, you live healthy, you're healthy. If you think negative, you act negative, you absorb negativity, you're going to be negative. But the best part about this is that you control the narrative. You write your mindset. You dictate the life you want to have by what you feed yourself. So if you're a person that's been struggling with life, things have been crazy for you, there's been a lot of negativity, there's been things that's just happening to you, my question would be for you is, are you absorbing too much negativity? Are you absorbing too much drama? And if you are, eliminate it. Eliminate it. I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm in a bad scenario right now and I just can't get away from it. Yeah, you can. You can get away from it. You can run from it. It's kind of like that little meme they had on. It wasn't a meme. It was an IG reel. And they had a guy on there and he would always say, no, you're not. No, you're not. And so somebody would post like something behind it, like, today I'm going to the gym, right? In the caption. And then in the background, he said, no, you're not. No, you're not. That's real. It's reality. That's why that reel was so funny, because we say things that we can't do, that we can't accomplish. And in reality, we really can. We just don't want to. But you'll look today. I'm gonna give you some pointers and suggestions on how to change your intake of what's spilling into your life. right? So now what feels spill, I'm gonna teach you how to take in negativity. That way, when your I said negativity, how to intake positivity. That way, when your positivity is part of your life, you can now spill out positivity to others around you. They can see you're positive. They love your positive vibe. And when you see something negative, you're going to run to the hills because you're going to say, I'm not part of that. I'm part of positivity. So write this stuff down, y'all. Number one, you have to eat healthy. Like I said earlier, you are what you eat. If you eat healthy, you think healthy, you live healthy. And when I say eat healthy, I'm not just talking about nutritional food, healthy food that has great benefits, right? I'm talking about intaking healthy food as in reading educational positive books, watching educational positive YouTube channels, watching positive educational YouTube episodes or Netflix or Hulu. They're out there. You don't see them a lot, but they're out there. You just got to go find them. Go find something that piques your interest and watch it. And it's positive, right? Because again, if you eat healthy, you live healthy. And if you live healthy, you be healthy, right? Healthy nutrition, like I said, is great. I always tell myself, when I eat something, is it going to give me any nutritional value, right? If it's just candy, sugar, donuts, juice, it's not giving me any nutritional value that I need. So I'm gonna have to skip that. And I'm gonna go for the option that gives me nutritional value, something that gives me energy, something that makes me feel good, something that just makes me know that, hey, when I eat this, I'm gonna get the energy I need and feel better. And I'm not gonna go into what they call that carb coma because I'm not loading myself up with bad carbs, right? Number two, you have to live healthy. Live healthy. And I don't think I have to tell you how to live healthy. I don't think so. I think we all know, especially as adults, we all know what living healthy looks like, right? No one has to tell you that. But like I said a minute ago, if you're living healthy, you're automatically going to read educational material. You're automatically going to drink your water. You're automatically going to do the things in life that are positive, like working out, going for a walk after dinner, going for a walk at break at lunch. You're going to do these things automatically because you're filling yourself with positivity. And like I said, what feels spills. So if you fill yourself with positivity, you're going to do positive things. But if you're stuck scrolling on Facebook and you watching all the drama, all the high school fights, all the stuff they post, guess what? Your mind is going to be on fighting, which is negative. Right? But fill your mind up with positivity, right? Last but not least, be healthy, live healthy, do the right thing in life. We all know what doing the right thing is. I don't feel like that's rocket science. I got to break that down for anybody. Everyone in life that's an adult knows what the right thing is. And some of our kids these days that are 7, 8 years old, they smarter than us as adults. They even know what they should be doing to living healthy. They know. Kids are smart these days. There's a lot of stuff that they have growing up that we didn't have. And number one, social media. You can learn everything from social media. So everybody knows what it is to do the right thing in life. Now, you may not think it's the right thing, the right or wrong thing at the moment, but you know what's going to happen if you make that decision, right? Good decisions. Make good decisions, better decisions. Be very analytical when you make a decision. Weigh out the options, pros and cons. That's what I do before I go buy a brand new car, before I purchase a house. Get a piece of paper, get a pen. I write down all the pros and all the cons. Damn, my mortgage is going to go up, but I'm going to be in a bigger, nicer house. I got to move 30 miles from work. So I got to spend my money on gas now. Got to make sure my vehicle rides. See what I mean? Be very analytical about your decisions. And when you're analytical about it, you tend to make a better decision. Okay? That's just what it comes down to. Make good decisions. Surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with people that's positive. Y'all, some people out here that I refuse to hang out with because they negative. Not that I don't love them. Not that I don't care for them. Not because they ain't my mofo. But at the end of the day, they too negative for me. They gonna pull me down. I think Kobe Bryant said it best. He goes, why do I want to hang out with a lazy person? Their laziness might rub off on me. Why do I want to hang around somebody that's negative? Their negativity might just rub off on me. So surround yourself with positive people. When you do all these things, you eat healthy, you live healthy, and you be healthy, what feels is now going to spill out in your environment. And guess what? You're going to have a positive environment. You dictate the environment that you want. You have the ability to do that. If there's something in your life right now that's making your environment worse, get rid of it. Walk away. Find positivity in your life. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate it. If you are struggling today with thoughts of suicide, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. If you have not followed the podcast episode, whatever platform you're listening to on, go hit the follow button. You hit the follow button, it's going to let you know when a brand new episode drops. Y'all, I'm not hard to find. I'm on IG all day, every day. That's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. If you would like to talk to me, have a consultation, there is a $50 30-minute cost for that. We can talk about anything you want to, your struggles, your business ideas, anything that you want to talk about me with. You want my opinion, my advice, I can do that. If you want me just to be quiet and listen, I'm good at that too. Sometimes you can't tell family members what's going on in your life. Sometimes you can't tell good friends because they judge you. But you could tell me anything because I'm that guy that won't share. What we talk about is competition between you and me. All right. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help you rewire the way you think. And as I always say, practice daily mindset rehabilitation. And that's my 2 cents on that, y'all. Peace.